So I have this phone. It's a Samsung Galaxy phone. It costs 1.5 million naira. That's how much they sell it in the market. But I did not buy this phone with my money. Somebody gave it to me as a gift. So I got it free of charge. But for some reason, I decided that I don't need the phone anymore. I could use a smaller phone. So I decided to sell the phone. And I sold it because nobody would pay me 1.5 million naira for it. It's already a used phone. I sold it for 1 million naira. Now, the person who bought the phone was extremely excited. He got a good deal. It's a Samsung phone. And I'm extremely excited. I did not pay any money to get the phone. But here I am. I have 1 million naira in my pocket to do as I like with. And then I decided that, okay, since I don't want to be phoneless, let me spend 300,000 out of that 1 million naira to buy a smaller phone. I still have change of about 700,000 naira in my pocket. So I ask you a question. Even though the cost of the phone is 1.5 million naira in the market, and I sold it for 1 million naira, did I pay subsidy on the phone? I'll come back to the answer to that question. But before I come back, let's have a second scenario. Let's say I want to buy this phone. It's 1.5 million naira. But I don't have 1.5 million naira. I only have 1 million naira cash with me. I need extra 500,000 naira to buy the phone. So I decide that somebody should support me. Who will support me? And somebody decided that, oh, I will give you a loan. You will pay me back when you are able to. So I received the 500,000, add it to my 1 million, and then I was able to buy the phone, 1.5 million. Please, follow me. I need us to just do this small analysis. At the end of the day, did I pay subsidy on the phone? I think we can guess from the two scenarios that definitely there is subsidy on one because I had to pay. So the extra 500 naira in the second case is subsidy because I needed to pay for the phone since I am not getting it for free. And somebody had to pay it. So whoever paid that 500 naira to me is paying for subsidy. But in the first case, the phone is 1.5 million naira in the market. Yes. But I did not get the phone. I did not pay for the phone. I got the phone for free. And so I decide that I will sell it for 1 million. Did I pay for full subsidy? The answer is no. But I could say that I had a shortfall of 500,000 naira because that is the difference between the price in the market and the price that I got for selling it at 1 million naira. So that's the difference between shortfall and subsidy. Subsidy, you have to pay for something. Let's bring this to the NNPC scenario. NNPC talks about landing cost, and we must take or pay particular attention to this issue of landing cost. The NNPC says we don't pay fuel subsidy. We have never paid for fuel subsidy. First, it was Mele Kyari that said it, and then the chief financial officer of NNPC Limited came out on national TV to say it. And I'm surprised that people still just gloss over it and pretend as if that did not happen. In fact, I've seen analysts come out on TV to say, oh, even though the man said that, but we have to be paying for a subsidy. Come on. It is the NNPC that is empowered to do and undo with our crude oil. If there's anybody who should know that we pay for fuel subsidy, it should be the NNPC. Now, the chief financial officer, the person in charge of the finances of NNPC, comes out to tell us that NNPC does not pay for fuel subsidy. And you still have the mind to go on national TV in the name of you are an oil and gas expert to say that, oh, the federal government or NNPC or somebody must be paying for fuel subsidy? You are talking about landing cost. Landing cost, landing cost is 1.3 million. Look, if the landing cost is 1,300 naira per liter, but NNPC is not paying for it because NNPC gets those refined petrol products in exchange for crude oil. And the arrangement is so smart and tacit, even though it does not benefit the overall Nigeria, because the distillates, the other distillates from crude oil don't get to come back with the refined petrol product. So in the long run, it does not benefit the economy of Nigeria. But for the sake of getting refined petrol products, aviation fuel, diesel, and petrol, PMS, NNPC does not need to pay for it, so it was a very smart deal. Everything from the loading terminals, every cost from the loading terminal is borne by the refineries. The refineries factor it into the cost of the refined petrol product they bring back to the NNPC. So NNPC's only obligation, FOB Nigerian loading terminal, is the cost of extracting the crude oil from the ground. That's the cost. And even that cost, they don't pay for in cash, because it's either they have production sharing formulas in place or they have joint venture partnership, JV partnerships in place, which they actually use to pay for the extraction of the crude oil from the ground in crude oil, not in cash. So from extracting the crude oil from the ground to loading terminal, from loading terminal, the refineries pick the crude oil to their refineries, they bring back refined petrol product, NNPC takes it into their storage at Bonny, Anchorage, and Lagos. They don't pay in cash for it. So yes, this is where it gets interesting. NNPC gets these refined petrol products in custody. They didn't get to pay in cash for it. But they look at the price in the international market. So if the price in international market is 1,300 naira per liter, and let's not forget that we choose how much we sell our fuel on the international market. We can decide that we are going to sell our fuel cheaper than Libya, or than Egypt, than Algeria, than Angola, whose fuel currently are cheaper on the international market than Nigeria's fuel. We could decide that we will sell below theirs. And mind you, don't forget that NNPC also sells refined petrol products. It is not all the refined petrol products that NNPC gets from the refineries that they sell to Nigeria. Many people have come with this story of, oh, it is smuggled. It's not smuggled. NNPC sells this fuel on the international market and they make money from it. Now, NNPC fixes their price per liter of fuel at 1,300 naira per liter. Let's say so, maybe 70 cents or 80 cents, even though it is about 50 cents. But NNPC does not pay in cash for this crude oil, for this refined petrol products. NNPC can decide that instead of selling it at the market price of 1,300, they can decide to sell it at 600 naira per liter. Yes, they may not have made full profits of 700 naira per liter, but they would not have made any loss either. What they would talk about is shortfall. Oh, we're supposed to sell at 1,300, but we got instruction from the president or from the federal government of Nigeria to sell at 600. So we have a shortfall of 600 naira per liter, but we still are making a gain of 600 naira because we didn't pay to get this thing. We paid for it in crude oil. So everybody is good. They don't run at a loss. They may not make maximum profit. And that is good for Nigeria because that is the whole essence of having a national oil company in the first place. That is good for Nigeria. That is something that you won't get from Dangote refineries. Everybody's shouting that Dangote refineries is a blessing for Nigeria. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't. Because number one, Dangote refineries will not give the profits from his refinery to ordinary Nigerians. He will not, or will he? And the distillates from Dangote refineries, he still goes to go and sell on the international market, making profits for himself. Meanwhile, this is something that you're supposed to have thousands of refineries spread across the Niger Delta area, the riverine area of Nigeria, so that the wealth can be spread. But no, because of somebody deciding to dance to the tune of the IMF and the World Bank, using the weapon of privatization, which is used to take the wealth that is supposed to belong to a large number of people and put it in the hands of one man, so they can use that one man to control policy directions for that country. Somebody decided that it was a better idea to give Dangote refineries license to have 650,000 capacity. And they brag about it that it's the biggest in the world. And I just laugh. Why would you brag about something like that? Why do you think that, okay, if it was a thing, if it was something serious to have a single train largest refinery in the world, why do you think America does not have a single train largest refinery in the world? Why do you think Europe does not have it? Why do you think Asia does not have it? Oh, you think it is only Nigeria that has the capacity to have the largest single train? It should tell you something, that if the global north are not focusing on largest single train refinery, then it is useless, or it comes at a cost to you to have it. Or it is beneficial to them in a way, by way of privatization and using ICSID and international law to transfer sovereignties of countries or dissolve sovereignty of countries and transfer wealth to their corporations using these same individuals. That's the only way to make sense. But that's by the way. Let's come back to the whole issue of the fact that the NNPC does not pay for refined petrol product. So NNPC can talk about shortfall, and that's what the chief financial officer was talking about. Shortfall. But it doesn't mean that they are making a loss. It doesn't mean that they are paying for a subsidy. And he said so with his own mouth. Why will any Nigerian still come out on national TV to still insist that the federal government is paying for a subsidy? Why? When the people who are concerned, in fact, the oil marketers have also come out themselves to say they are not paying for fuel subsidy. They are not getting any fuel subsidy payment from anybody, whether NNPC or federal government. NNPC has come out to say, oh, we don't receive fuel subsidy payments. But then the Minister of Finance comes out after tremendous pressure from the IMF and World Bank to admit that, oh, we are spending 5.8, 6.8 trillion, oh, 3.6 trillion in 2023, plus 4.2 trillion. They're just calling these trillions as if it's nothing. They claim they have paid it. Okay, fine. Ministry of Finance, Minister of Finance, come and tell Nigerians who you paid it to, because oil marketers have said they don't receive fuel subsidy payments. NNPC have said they don't receive fuel subsidy payment. That in fact, they don't pay fuel subsidy payment to anybody. So who do they pay to? This is the fraud in the fuel subsidy regime. There's no such thing as fuel subsidy. And as far back as 11, 12 years ago, you had the former Minister of Petroleum, Professor Tam David West, coming out to say that there's no such thing as fuel subsidy. What I'm saying now, he said 12 years ago, 13 years ago. But somehow Nigerians won't pay attention. But we won't keep quiet either. We won't. Fuel subsidy does not exist. And if something does not exist, you cannot pay it. And we're not the ones saying it anymore. Before, it was just us saying it. But right now, you have had the people who are supposed to be responsible for it come out to say it. So what are we going to do about it? Are we just going to sit down and throw our hands in the air and say it's one of those things? Are we just going to sit down and say, oh, these people are corrupt, oh, Nigeria is bad, because that's what we are quick to say? No. We must begin to take action. We must begin to write petitions. We must begin to use the Freedom of Information Act to request for information. Somebody wrote me and said, oh, that who will you petition? Is it the court? Is it EFCC? Oh, these people have everything but. No. We can't just throw our hands in the air and give up. We cannot. The truth remains that if the petition is coming from one person, then it may not be effective. Because somebody pointed out that Serap has been doing petition. He has been suing. What has come out of it? Well, as far as I know, for every suit that Serap gives, they get result. And if the result is not as tangible as you expect, then I will tell you that, or ask you, could it not be that it's because it's just Serap? I said it before. If it is just one person that is doing the petition, it's possible to take that person out or even to buy that person out. But if the petition is coming from multiple people, if 1 million of us are writing petitions, And we're writing to the National Assembly, we're writing to EFCC, we're writing to ICPC, we're writing to Ministry of Finance, we're writing to NNPC, and they see this petition. We bombard them with it. And we don't just bombard them with the petitions or the Freedom of Information request. We also come on social media and we talk about it. And if necessary, we form pressure groups and we make demands of them consistently and persistently. Do you think there will be result or not? There will be result. And we can't just continue with inaction. We can't continue by sitting on the line. We can't continue with this spirit of fear. We have to take action. Please, I call on you. Let's take action. I promised I would give a draft of the petition. I have not finished with it. My schedule has been tight. But once I finish it, I will put it out there. And if there's any of you who is watching who has a template for a petition, please send it to me. Let us share amongst each other. Let's make the work easy so that we can get Nigeria from the path it is currently in to a path of production. See, some people argue that, oh, give Tinubu time. Oh, he needs time, it's just 1 year. I ask you, how long do we give Tinubu? Daniel Wale has said it all, even though he retracted. He went back like a dog to its vomit. But he said it all when he said that give Tinubu 30 years. Nigeria will not improve. Nothing will change in Nigeria. The only thing that will happen is they will have more time to keep doing what they are doing and putting more Nigerians into poverty. That's the only thing. So we have to start to hold them accountable. And it starts with this action. Petitions and Freedom of Information request. We have to do this too. So if you have templates, please share with us. I will do to share as soon as I can. But talk about it, we must continue to talk about it. There is no reason that the NNPC should continue selling fuel to Nigerians at 600 naira. If, in fact, right now, because of the artificial scarcity that they have created, to create an excuse for them to increase the price of petrol again to 1,300 naira. I was screaming it weeks back. It's happening already. People are going to filling station and they see 1,000 naira per liter on the fuel meter, on the fuel pump. So this artificial scarcity is created to make sure that they create the excuse for them to increase price again. And they will always get away with it if we continue to sit idly by and sit and do nothing, sit in inaction. No, this is the time for us to take action. There are actions that we can take. Nobody is asking you to come and protest now. We're just saying, let us petition. That is a safe and yet very effective way of driving home our point. We can turn on the heat from under these people, make them feel the heat a little by just this petition and co. And then, of course, we'll take other drastic steps to change them. All these leaders must go in 2027. If the energies we are putting into protest, we put it into the elections, and we come out disregarding every tactics of intimidation, tactics of discouragement that they put in place. If we put that energy in, and then we put strategies in place to make sure that we create a sufficient structure to win, we will kick out these corrupt leaders in 2027. I know so. It's just we need the right strategy. We need more of strategy than activism. Unfortunately, we have approached it from an activist point of view instead of from a strategic point of view. This needs to change. In 2027, we can do it. But we cannot have the right crop of leaders get thrown up if we continue to operate with these current political party systems that we have. The political party systems we have right now are already used to cash and carry politics. That is why you won't find a political party where nomination forms are free. You won't find a political party that has it enshrined in this constitution that nobody can run for any elective office without having been a member for at least 12 months. They don't have it. In fact, the smaller political parties are culprits in this respect, because you'll find out that the smaller parties just sit down and they wait. They wait for primaries to be conducted in the bigger political parties, and when the losers in those primaries are disgruntled, they will now come, they displace those who are already in the political party, and then rancor and infighting begin to happen. So you won't find any political party that has that kind of stipulation, except we create it ourselves. And that's why we're inviting you to join us to create the Abundance Party of Nigeria. It's going to be a party like no other before. It's going to be a party for the people, by the people, run for the people, or by the people and of the people. This is an opportunity you have. Don't waste it. Click the link in the description and join us. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and we cannot continue to be wasting time. They are distracting us. The strategy of distraction and division of Tinubu is working. Unfortunately, I have to admit that. Because right now, they keep us distracted. Everybody agrees that we need electoral reforms. Everybody agrees that we need to change the electoral law to make it compulsory for INEC to transmit election results directly from, or electronically, from the polling unit. We all agree. But who is pushing forward for this? Nobody. In fact, I would have preferred that instead of having an end bad governance protest, it should have been give us electronic transmission protest. And they wouldn't have found the ground to divide us like they divided us. Because it wouldn't have been that, oh, they are using the excuse that somebody is trying to remove Tinubu from office. That should have been the protest. Give us an electoral act. Since the National Assembly has been doing it, the Senate, the House of Rep, in one day they passed new national anthem. In one day they do appropriation. They can also do this amendment to the Electoral Act to make it compulsory for INEC to do electronic transmission directly from the polling unit. They can do it. But who is forcing them to do it? Unfortunately, all the political parties are asleep. All the major presidential candidates, they are asleep. Nobody's calling for this. And this is what I need Peter Obi to also now begin to spearhead. It is not a crime. It is not treason. It is not bad. It's not wrong to say that let us have electronic transmission of results from the polling unit enshrined in the Electoral Act. In fact, even enshrined in the Constitution. And say, let us move together. Peter Obi, you should be leading this. Lead this. At least this one is not calling people to violence. You're calling for the National Assembly to pass this law. Nobody is doing that already. And 1 year is already gone. Before you know it, it's 2 years, it's 3 years, it's 4 years. And we'll just continue to sit down and say, oh, if they don't give us reform. I agree, if they don't give us reform, there will not be free and fair elections. So what are you doing for us to get that reform? What are you doing? We can't just sit down and be crying and complaining like crybabies. We have to get up and take action. Tinubu and his cohorts 30 years ago were on this side of the divide. They were able to maneuver their way into the other side, being in charge of the government right now. Because they thought smartly. They looked at the electoral system. They studied it. They looked for the weakness and the weak points. And they looked for ways to strengthen it. You saw the interview that the former vice president gave, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, when he was talking about how Tinubu came to him to go and get an expert from the United Kingdom. A forensics expert who knew how to use forensics to measure, to check polling or ballot papers. And they were checking millions of ballot papers forensically. And they were able to sift out those that were fake or forged or stuffed from the real ones. And with that, they were able to get courts to give them judgment. We can do the same. Look, we cannot continue to put the responsibility and put the blame 100% on INEC, on Tinubu, on APC, on judiciary. We cannot. There are things that you and I can do on our own that we have not done. In the last election, Peter Obi did not set up his own collation center. He didn't. His own situation room, Labour Party did not. They did not put a structure in place to do one thing. In fact, do you know that there were people who were ready to be polling unit agents for Peter Obi free of charge? But somehow, the Obi Dati campaign organization, the Labour Party, succeeded in shielding off those genuine, passionate obedience from becoming agents. Instead, they put their own friends and family members on that list, people who were only in it for the money. No wonder what happened with Aisha Yusufu and the state coordinators happened on election day. Give me money, I will not give you money. Send account number, I will not send account number. Oh, okay, bring a polling unit result. I don't have polling unit result. All of that happened because we did not have an open. I would have expected that an Obidati campaign organization should have put up a website and say, if you're interested in becoming a polling unit agent, go to this website. It becomes an open thing. And then you get people's credentials, you look at them, you screen them, you ask them questions, and then you get people who will do it for free. If Peter Obi needed 200,000, okay, we have 176,000 polling units. Okay, let's even round it off to 200,000. If Peter Obi needed 3 times that number, 600,000 polling unit agents, Peter Obi could have gotten it across the 176,000 polling units, across the 8,000 plus wards, across the 774 local government, across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. He could have gotten it, but no. We couldn't even make up the total number. And the people who got on the list were people who were agents, who were friends and family members that were not passionate, that did not believe in the cause. They were only in it for the money. And so when they did not see the money, they decided that they will not bring polling unit results. And you have seen that a lot of those polling unit agents compromised from the reports that we're seeing from Osita Chidoka. So there are things that we could have done on our own part that we did not do. So we can't just continue to lay the blame 100%. Yes, they rigged. Yes, INEC rigged. Yes, I believe that Tinubu rigged, APC rigged. And the judiciary looked the other way because we made it easy for them to. See, so long as the judiciary have issues that are within their prerogative to interpret, they are free to interpret it the way they want. But if you have polling units from EC8A result, original, that you obtained from your die-hard, passionate polling unit agent, you collate your own result in your own situation room. And so when they are presented in national result from each state and they say, oh, Tinubu got 7 million votes, you say, no, from our own calculation, Tinubu got only 6 million votes. If they say Peter Obi got 6.1 million votes, you say, no, from our own calculation, Peter Obi got 9 million votes. You present hard evidence. That way, no judge can overturn it. No judge can overturn it. But we failed in our responsibilities. We're now putting the blame 100%. As much as I agree that they rigged, we also failed in our responsibility. And it's because of inaction. It is because of lack of strategic thinking. And it's time for us to start that strategic thinking. I'm calling upon you. We need to start it now. This is the time. They are wasting our time. They are giving us talking points every 2 or 3 days. They will give us something to talk about. They know that we like to talk. We talk. We have become expert problem analysts. Everybody now on social media, in fact, on the street, they can analyze Nigeria's problem for you. But what steps are you taking to correct it? Nothing. It's time for us to start talking solutions and take it a step further. Instead of just talking, we take action. And the action we can take starts with this. Let's start writing petitions. Let's start bombarding them with petitions. Don't just say that the petitions will not work. They will work when they are coming from multiple persons per time. And when we create serious attention on it on social media, even on mainstream media, it'll work. We have to take action. And then we have to start to pressure. If we say we need electoral reforms, we agree we need electoral reforms. What steps are we taking to get those electoral reforms? We're not taking any steps. Is this how we will wait and then 2027 will come around and then we'll not start complaining again that they intimidated us? We can't continue like this. We cannot continue like this.